For today's video, I'll speak about the Round 8 review for Supercoach 2021. We scored 2,238 and we're ranked 41. So we were 35 last week and we're down six ranks to 41. So we're in an okay spot. Definitely, I think our rank is better than our actual team. And I think we're going to get overtaken by teams in better positions. Because we have a few premiums that I'm not super confident in terms of how they will go against the guys that'll be top 8 or top 6 or top 10 in their line. But I think we'll be okay. And look, the guy in first place, I have no idea if he watches or not, but the dude in first place is going to be very hard to stop. I think he's got 200-point lead now. He's got Mills and just an unbelievable team. So good luck to that guy. I don't see myself catching him. So yeah, a few people messaging me like, "Oh George, you could win this year." I don't want to think about it. Just set up for disappointment. So we'll go for top 10. It's possible, but it's going to be very difficult. First, I don't see. We need a miracle. So, but yeah, I think it's just because first is so far ahead, and I think a few people in the Discord. I think shout out to Baps and Corey, doing very well. They're above me right now. So I think there's 5 of us in the top 50. I look at their teams, and it's basically a better version of mine in every possible way. Unless Steel can like average 130 from here or something, their teams are clearly better than mine. So that's fine. So happy for them. But yeah, so we'll get into the team. In terms of why the teams rank so well, I don't know if I can put my finger on it. I think it's because like earlier in the season, if you use value really well, it works out well. Later on in the season, you might get punished for it if those players aren't keepers. So I think trading in CJ's made us like 100k, so I guess that's fine. Cozzy made, I don't want to look at it, probably made like 150, maybe a bit more. CJ to Cozzy, I guess it's okay. We got a lot of points on field, so it's whatever. Probably not worth a trade though. So yeah, why are we doing so well? I don't know, maybe we've spread out, like we haven't had to field bad rookies too often. Like we have an 81 on the bench here, so that's good. Like we haven't had to field Rowe all that much. Dev here, I'll speak about Dev, but I pumped up Dev a lot and feel kind of bad for that now, but we'll speak about him soon. I think like the structure of the team's good. Our starting 5 mids were all pretty good. Steele's dropped a bit of money, but that's fine. We got a solid mid. Defense is pretty iffy. Like Bose is iffy. Short's not top 6. May's like May we had to do because it's 400k. Like it just enables what we can do, and he has the ceiling to be top 6. Don't think he will be, but I think he definitely has the ceiling to do it. So that's fine. And look, key defenders can score fine. Look at Darcy Moore, how well he's scoring defense. I think Jacob Wiedering's nearly averaging like 95 or something, if I remember correctly. So it's like it's just a myth that key defenders can't be good premium scorers, because if they have good scoring avenues, like they intercept, contested, spoils, kickouts, good kicking efficiency, that can all add up to enough to be a premium. And that's for me, Stephen May. I love watching Stephen May kick. He's such a I don't know, when he kicks off the boot, it just looks so good. So I'm a fan of May. 77, that's fine. We move on. But yeah, in terms of what we need to happen for us to do well, I think we have to get Thomas Stewart in eventually. I just feel like he's been underscored, and he's going to kill us one way. He's already killed us once with a 150. It's going to happen again pretty soon. Ridley, the great thing about no Ridley right now is his rebounds. They're using, Hines getting a bit more involved. I think Redmond's back there. Heppel's back there. So now all of a sudden, Ridley's gone from doing all the rebounding, 10 to 12 rebounds a game, to 3 to 4 rebounds a game. And he had to play on Toby Green, so a bit rough, so he might be freed up soon. It's great for us. Maybe he bounces back soon, but he's one where we might have to just get him in over Stewart. But I think I'd rather Stewart. But I'm not sure. We'll see. But Ridley's going to be a good price. Probably be like 470 if he goes to like 90 or something. But anyway, we'll get into the team. Enough rambling on that. So look, the defense was okay. Again, these premiums like no Mills. No Mills is really bad. Could have gone Mills over May, but I guess it's fine because we needed the money. No Stewart. Ridley, still kind of problematic probably later on. And then Whitfield we're not going to worry about just because I don't know, just durability is slightly an issue with him. And then he's like, with the lung, it's like, I don't know if that's going to affect him because he's like a massive runner. So that lung, was it a lung issue? I can't even remember. Bruised liver or lung, can't remember, something like that. So I think that might affect him. I think it was lung. So maybe don't worry about that. He could be good if he gets cheap in the back half of the year, could be amazing pick, but I think it's just one where it'll be the one that will get away, probably. And then the midfield. So I think our starting midfield is pretty good. Brayshaw, paid 480. That's what you get when you pay for a 480 player. You get these sort of scores. So I don't think going for a cheap M8 is good this year because we need Guthrie, we need Lyons, we need Bontempelli. I think you probably still need Walsh. Look, you play the dog, so it's fine. You definitely need McRae, you need Oliver. I think Merritt you want. And look, I'm the biggest fan of Jack Steele, so I think you definitely want Jack Steele, especially with Saints coming good. He scored 140 Dream Team. Just few bad clangers early, just stuffed up his score for the rest of the game. So could have easily been like a 140 score from him. So I think you want those guys plus Guthrie, Bont, Lyons, and then there's like Neil in the back half. Tom Mitchell's coming good finally. I think Tom Mitchell's been underscored lately, but a lot of backwards handballs and stuff, so I guess you get hurt for that. But that's fine. So the midfield overall was quite good. And then our captains. So with captains, it's like I almost took the 110 from Steele. We just chucked the C on Oliver because he had no games under 110 this year, apart from the game he was tagged. So I figured odds in my favour. Let's just do it. We need every point we can get. So that was quite nice. A lot of people would have captain gone. So maybe we got 10, 15 points on other people. So all adds up. So we take those. But yeah, usually captaining someone at the last 5 seconds is a bad decision. So yeah, that's fine. And then Laird's been good. So happy with Laird. I think we all have him. And his DP, it just shows how valuable DPP is this year. So couldn't have gotten some of these players in if he didn't have DPP. Brayshaw, I want to flip in his last buy round. Just because there's like other mids that are probably going to average 115 and 120. And Brayshaw's back half of last year was pretty atrocious, so I'm not sure. But I think they screwed with his role. I think they played him on a wing a little bit, and then they moved him in the guts, and then he scored like 40 points in the fourth quarter or something. So that's whatever. But I still think he's a good pick, but for his price. But now it's like in the back half, if everyone else has like a Guthrie at M8, even though he's not at M8, but just as an example, it's going to be problematic. And then McNeil kickstarted his cash in, which was good. Brockman should come back, but he's not going to score anything. And then Finn had a good VFL game, so hopefully it'd be great if he comes back for the buy rounds, even if he comes in and scores like a 40 and a 50, just to give us something. But I'm not sure. And Rucks were fine, nothing much to say. Gorn's gone down a bit for the last few games with Jackson taking a bit more responsibility. I think that's smart. Gorn's nearly 30. They want to develop Jackson a bit more. He's huge talent. Why wouldn't you do that, to be honest? So it just makes it interesting as to whether we captain Gorn anymore. I think we still can, but it's like if they're starting to... I need to see Gorn CBAs because last week they were well down, so I want to see him for this week. If they're down again this week, then I don't want to straight captain him. But I think Pitnet's injured and he plays Carlton, so we'll see on that. The forward line is pretty terrible. But I guess we're pretty like full here. Like Butts and Powers at D6 and M8 is nice luxury, I think. But yeah, Zeebel's fine. I think minor injury, so Zeebel will probably get injured at some point. He's already had 2 knocks or hurt his shoulder. I mean, he's a pretty courageous player, so he throws his body around. He's just, I can feel but it wouldn't be surprising if he had a contact injury. So MP's D F2 and Zeebel's D F1. In the ranks, so in the defender rankings. So that's great. I guess we all have them though, so definitely keepers. Tom Atkins is probably going to be at F6, and we're probably going to have to bleed there for the rest of the season, just how it is. So he's averaging 85. Hopefully he keeps that up. 85 to 90 would be great. But with Atkins, yeah, it's just like doesn't get involved. Like his job isn't to get the ball get the ball into his hands, whereas like a lot of other defenders, like they want the ball in Impey's hands, they want it in Zeebel's hands. Like Atkins is just like, he's a role player, he does his job. Sometimes he has to get the ball, sometimes he doesn't. So look, he's been great for us. Made 120k, keeping rookies off the field. I think he'll end up out F6, but yeah. I definitely prefer Hind. Probably should have started Hind over Atkins, but Atkins was a lot cheaper, so yeah, that's fine. Would I bring Atkins in? If you asked me last week, I would have said probably, but I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't think I would. But yeah, maybe next week I'll say yes. But with Atkins, you're probably going to get 85 to 90 average, 400k. All of a sudden, there's a few other better options at that price range. Chad Warner's fine. I think we have to hold him to the bye rounds. And then Dev, feel bad because I really pumped him up. I went on the Herald Sun podcast and they asked me about Dev, and I wasn't expecting to be asked about Dev, and I knew a lot about Dev, so I spoke about him for like 3 minutes, pumped him up. The main issue with Dev, he has all the tools. The only thing is, I just thought he was more developed than he actually is, and maybe he's not there. And he's a rookie, second year, going to be inconsistent. But today, just panicked a little bit, didn't get involved. Time and ground just keeps dropping for whatever reason. But I really like when I watched him play. Like dominated the VFL game. So when I watched him play against Carlton in his first game nearly scored 100 Dream Team. His third game kicked 2 goals on Carlton. So just played really, really well. Got the ball, was clean, made good decisions for the most part, kicked goals. He just looked really good at the level. Body looked ready. He's a pretty tall dude. So I figured, like, you know, I knew what his draft profile was. I saw some improvement from him in these games. I thought maybe he can continue this. Maybe not. So break-even's 54. I'd like to hold him, but I think if Berry's back this week, Dev's probably the first one to go out. But we'll see. I'm not sure. So a little bit disappointed in that. I'd like to hold him though, but I don't know. It depends on who's named. And then Scott is fine. 85, kicked some nice goals, and yeah, ticking along very nicely. Hopefully gets to 300k. Probably trade him out pretty soon. And Waterman, maybe he comes back with Stringer out, combins, whatever. Okay, trades for this week. We need a forward. I've been dreading this for 8 rounds. I just did not want to pick a forward, and I still don't. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to go through the list. I think we've gone through it on the channel 3 or 4 times, but we're going to go through it again. And I'm hearing Aaron Hall's name pop up. And I'm thinking, oh God, JD spoke about Aaron Hall on the pod. The numbers, you can't ignore the numbers. It could be a situation where he's moved to halfback, like a Zeeble, rejuvenated his career. I'm starting to care less about durability, because if durability works, then like if they don't get injured and they have huge upside, then if you don't have him, it's like it's problematic. So we'll go through the forwards and we'll think about Nick Hind during the week. Not Nick Hind. Nick Hind I'm considering, but we'll think about Aaron Hall. So trades. Flynn can piss off. I've had enough of this. So he's going to come in for 1 game. I think Briggs has played pretty well as well. So if he plays this week, it's like whoever I get rid of is making money anyway. Like Scott's making money. Dev's probably going to go as well. Warner, I want to keep on field to the buys. I need him. Plays Collingwood this week. I feel more comfortable with Warner on field, even though he's giving us like 60s every week than other players. So the player that has to come in is Poulter for sure. So he's a wingman for Collingwood. I think his numbers in the SNF under 18s. So Tom Powers was like 150 average, and I think Poulter's was like 120 something. So he's straight in. Now we have 600k. So I'd love to grab a mid, grab Bontempelli, grab Guthrie, grab Lyons or something. Just can't do it with the setup. So need to grab a bloody forward, and I don't want to do it because they're all garbage. So okay, let's go through the list. Okay, Walker's dead. So just quickly on Taylor Walker, I couldn't believe his form early in the season, because he has been garbage for like 7 years, honestly. And I saw in his 4th or 5th game, I saw signs of him declining, and that's when I knew that it's fine to miss him. But yeah, he's fallen off a cliff now. Probably needs a rest, but whatever. Dunks we love, but yeah. Toby Green. No, I know I don't. I know. Like I'm kind of hell bent on durability, but I think Toby Green's is just historically too poor. So plus the suspension risk. So no, we've committed to not picking Zorko because of his age. Again, I think he has such good durability history apart from last year, so it's like it could be fine. We're gonna skip Zorko because his ownership's high. We bet against Zorko. That's just what we do. I like Shea Bolton a lot. The only issue with Bolton is he's kicked 6 goals in the past 2 weeks, and he's only scored like 120 and 110, 108. So I know those scores are good, but when you're kicking 3 goals, you'd think from the midfield, you would think that score would be a little bit better. So even though the weeks before, though, he was only kicking 1 goal, was still doing pretty well. So with Edwards out now, I think they're going to need him in the midfield as much as possible. Maybe we do Shea. Not sure. Bailey Dale I like as an option. I think AFL play ratings, it's like they do like a point system. I think they used to be tied to the AFL, but I'm not sure if they are anymore. So I think Dale is rated the number 1 general defender at the moment. So his ranking points is like 15, and I think the next best is like 13 or something. So that's pretty interesting. 5 run average 95, playing well off halfback. Has a lot of good attributes. Takes a few kickouts. Does Williams coming in hurt him a little bit? Maybe. They're using Daniel like all over the place at the moment. I don't know. Maybe. What's his break even? 61. I don't know. Harry Mackay, all these key forwards, 4 in a row, 9, 10, 11, 12. Harry Mackay looks great. He plays the Dogs next week, so... No, not the Dogs. Who's he play? I can't remember. Melbourne. Might be a tough ask on May. So, I think we're just going to avoid key forwards. Hawkins, unbelievable. Hawkins is one if Hawkins is the right price, I'd half think about it. But coming off a big score, I don't like going for key forwards. Tom McDonald's great. Been really good this year. And Darling's been pretty good, but he's done this before, so there's no way I don't think we just ignore these players. So now we look at the next few, and it's like there's nothing here, right? Dusty, I don't think I even want Dusty, to be honest. Look, he needs to show some sort of form because it's possible that his foot is still hurting, and he just looks totally disinterested. So they had a bad loss, so expect him to bounce back. It might be like 400k next week, so I just don't trust Dusty at the moment. So he's one I think we'll look at after the bye. Look, if he's 400k next week, show some great signs, maybe. I kind of want to look at him after the bye. We skip Nick Hind. So I like Nick Hind. I say Nick Hind's an okay pick in the Discord, and they all say you're an idiot, George. This is a pointless pick because there's stuff all upside to Nick Hind. So with Hind, I think he's getting better and better. At least with all these other forwards, I know he's going to be at halfback for the rest of the year. Like, at least, Shea, does he go more forward towards when they get the midfielders back? Zorko's same, still should get mid-time, but once, all their midfielders are back, do they use Zorko less in the midfield? So, who else? Yeah. Nick Hind is only 50 points total behind Zorko, and his role is more consistent. In a better age bracket as well. So I'd take Nick Hind over Zorko, plus his 60k cheaper, I think. So that's just me personally. Better durability, better age, more consistent role. That's just me personally. I get it why you think Zorko's better though. Most people do. Now the other imbecile pick I want, or not want, is bloody Aaron Hall. So spoke to JD in the pod about this, and when we brought up Aaron Hall, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally all over this pick," and I was like, "You are sick." Can't deny the numbers. Luke McDonald's out for 9 or 10 weeks or something. I think it was 7 to 9. So the numbers are so good, and it could be like a Zeeble situation where he's been centre halfback, and he's just able to score playing off halfback for a terrible team. Yeah, it's funny. Zeeble kicks the ball 55 meters and it comes straight back to him. It happens like 30 times a game. It happens. It's just ridiculous. So it's the best role in Supercoach pretty much. He's nearly the #1 player in the league in Supercoach. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. And with Hall's kind of a bit more damaging. You know, he can run and carry, probably a bit better by foot. Lots of meters gained. Just has all the space in the world. So one thing with Hall is he's like he's scoring a lot of points, having a lot of disposals, but like his dream team was like 140 and 130 2 weeks in a row, but he's only scored like what, back-to-back hundreds or something like that, 110. So, and he just played Collingwood, who are the easiest team to score against in off halfback. So this also stuffs our bye as well, because he shares with Hazebel, Impey, and Atkins. It'll be Shea, Hind, or Hall. I have to make a call. I don't think Shea's the play because he's so much money and he's just been on a hot streak. So whenever I get plays on a hot streak, they're due for a down one. But Shea's so good, box office player. So we need to decide. We'll just put Nick Hind for now, and then next week we can grab 600k mid. I'm not sure for who though. But yeah, lots to think about. And look, I think it does feel pointless picking Hind because his ceiling's not good enough, but he's cheap, does his job, and he's only 5 points a game behind Zorko. And I think he has a few more things going for him than Zorko in terms of like durability and stuff. So I think that's it. I think we'll leave it at that. I have to decide if we full send Aaron Hall. But yeah, should be good. Let me know what you would do because we have to grab a forward. And then next week, we have to make a call on Bont, Lyons, or Guthrie. So that's going to be a pretty big call, I think. Guthrie has a bye coming up. So yeah, we'll see. Hind is a better for our buys. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching the video and we'll see you guys soon.